Everybody talks about the narcissistic abuse cycle as the narcissist first love bombing the supply, and then once they've got the person hooked in, they start to slowly and steadily devalue the person until they realize that the person is no longer up to scratch, after which they discard the person, ghost them, or just kind of keep them hanging by one single string, just not caring if the person walks away or not. But there is this other genre, this other category of narcissists that they don't really go through that full cycle. Some narcissists just like it short and sweet. And those, what they'll do is they'll love bomb you. They will say all the right things to you. They will hook you in. And as soon as they see that they've got you hooked well, as soon as they see that you've fallen head over heels for them, they do something to cut the relationship cold turkey without any devaluation, without any prolonged downward spiral. It really is this kind of spending a few days, weeks pumping you up, and then once they've got you, they disappear. And of course that provides a lot of supply. And of course that can be very confusing to the person on the receiving end. You've just fallen head over heels and then poof. So, of course, if they do that and they disappear and then you don't hear from them for a while, they might be back. They might be back at some point when they need a better or a different distraction again in the form of you. But the point is, a lot of narcissists, they cut to the chase quite quickly in terms of getting their big punch of supply needs met from you. They tend to rotate more quickly. They come and go. But of course, it can be very confusing to the person on the receiving end of that. But narcissists, especially those that kind of like a quick investment, that quick high on your part, and then the quick downfall, which supplies them greatly, they really are like junkies, drug addicts. They're really addiction prone. Most narcissists are addiction prone. Most people who are high in narcissistic traits are addiction prone. But some of them, it's like this next level. And it gives them this huge ego boost. It's like it's like this hit of heroin, crack cocaine. But the thing is, there's always going to be red flags. For the person who's on the receiving end of that intense love bombing, that intense idealization, there's always going to be red flags. There's always going to be those warning signs, those siren bells. But of course, when they get you to override your own good sense through your high emotional state, a lot of times we become our own worst enemy. And that's what narcissists expect. They expect you to become your own worst enemy. And if they see you as somebody who has your own traumatic wounds, your own unhealed parts, they hook you in and deceive you on many different levels, but two in particular. One is, they know that by making you feel very euphoric and head over heels, you kind of numb that sensation, which is that inner brokenness that you feel perpetually inside you. So in a way, they are soothing you. They're soothing you by making you forget your own internal pain. But of course, bigger pain comes later. But you don't care about that because you're just thinking about the moment. You live in the moment. And secondly, sometimes they do and say the right things to make you feel good around them, because narcissists, they know how to say the right things. Maybe they know what you've been missing, what kind of feeling you've been missing in life, because maybe you haven't had the right structural support system in some way. And they do certain things, act out in certain ways, as if they're bridging that void in your own missing support system. They become your solution, so to speak. And there's other things they do as well to get you hooked on them in a very unhealthy way. But It's always the turning point. It doesn't matter what narcissist you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what narcissistic person you're dealing with, what toxic person you're dealing with. The turning point is always when they see that you are into them, when they see that you have become invested in them as a person. You've opened up your trust, you've opened up your heart. And then things start to reverse and steadily decline. Sometimes it might decline more quickly because sometimes, quite often, narcissists, they like the slow, steady supply that comes from a gradual devaluation until you're like a shell of your former self, and in which case they don't care about you so much anymore. But then you have those that give you that very quick devaluation for that quick supply boost on their part, and then it's kind of like they're done with you, or at least they might be done with you for a while because they just can't be bothered to stick around you. It could be that your presence just annoys them, which it most likely does. Maybe you talk too much. Maybe you verbalize your concerns too much. Maybe you make too many demands. Maybe you want them to partake in the chores in the house. I mean, there's so many things. So some of them have a very low tolerance for doing anything that they're not really feeling like doing. But the red flags, the warning signs, those siren bells, they're always there. But they know how to make you ignore what your own instincts are telling you. Because they see you for who you really are. They see the parts of you that are susceptible for what those parts of you really are. And a lot of people might say, well, dealing with a narcissist was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Or maybe you've dealt with 2 or 3, maybe more. And that's probably true. But unless you deal with people who show you your own brokenness in a way, then you don't really become aware of your own self and who you are and how other people might be able to control you later. So you kind of have to go through the process. But the question is, what do you do with it once you've been through it? What do you do with that information? What do you do with that knowledge? What do you do with that self-awareness? And what a lot of people don't talk about is a lot of times narcissists are attracted to other narcissists. A lot of time narcissists are attracted to other cluster Bs who are high in narcissistic traits and also other very toxic traits. Narcissists can be very attracted to very toxic codependents or other people who are high in toxic traits. A lot of time narcissists are attracted to people who are as broken as they are. And a lot of times the people who fall into the narcissist spell are quite similar to them. And sometimes it begs the question of who actually attracted who. Because everybody likes wearing the victim cap when things go south. But if you were to talk to the narcissist, they would be saying that you were the one who was unfair. You were the one who did something to push them away. Kind of like depends who you talk to. The other person always seems like the bad one. But the key is just so you understand like what the experience means for you and what you can learn from it. Because I guess if you don't take something away from it, not only are you going to repeat what's happened again, but you're not really creating new paths for yourself. You're not really opening new doors for yourself, new possibilities, because that's what the experience should confer upon you, is just groundwork so you can kind of open up new possibilities through new understandings. Thanks for watching.